Well, that didn't take long. Prince Harry speaks out in a new interview. The royal family isn't happy.
For those of you who don't remember, here's an excerpt from Prince Harry's memoir, Spare.
So let me start with you, Sam. You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Where?
I've been trying some home remedies, including one recommended by a friend. She'd urged me to apply Elizabeth Arden cream. My mum used that on her lips. You want me to put that on my todger? It works, Harry. Trust me. I found a tube, and the minute I opened it, the smell transported me through time. I felt as if my mother was right there in the room, and I took a smidge and applied it down there.
He's just blowing it. But King Charles should have been wise to what Prince Harry was always going to do. Prince William was right. I was right. Those witches in the mainstream media like Camilla were completely wrong. Because within just days of that face-to-face, Prince Harry has given a sick and egregious, a completely false new interview.
Because in a new interview with The Guardian today, the Duke has said, amongst other things, that he has no regrets about that memoir. So we can only assume that he applies to the question of oversharing as well. Well, I'm joined now in the studio by the legendary royal biographer Tom Bower.
Harry has separated himself from Meghan, as she did from him, but she needs him. And so you've got this couple now in Montecito desperately looking for a new purpose in life.
With the hard-left UK newspaper, The Guardian, which admits itself that it hates the monarchy, and within it, Prince Harry stands by his slurs, his smears, his downright lies against the royal family, against the Queen, against Catherine, the Princess of Wales. This man will never learn.
You see, my wife and I are totally like, you should write a book because your family's like stupid, and then so are like journalists. So you hate journalists. That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right. So you're a journalist.
Losers, enjoy Montecito.
So Prince Harry has finally said the quiet part out loud. He has no regrets. None. Zero. Zilch, the man who cashed in his entire family history, who dragged his brother through the mud, who threw his father under the bus, who painted his grandmother's legacy as cruel, says he wouldn't change a single word of spare. No regrets about turning a 1,000-year-old monarchy into his personal gossip column. No regrets about humiliating Prince William over bald jokes. No regrets about trashing Camilla as some scheming villain. And absolutely no regrets about selling himself as Meghan Markle's full-time emotional support hamster. When Tom Bower was asked to sum up Harry in one word, he didn't hesitate. Dishonest. One word. Brutal. And frankly, generous.
Convinces his father at the very last moment to meet him for reconciliation, promises that he'll be silent when he leaves, gets to Ukraine, and immediately delivers this amazing self-justification of saying that his conscience is clear, that he's got no regrets, and that everything he said was just a matter of the truth, and it's about time his family buckled down and apologized to him. I mean, it is unbelievable.
Tom Bower, with that in mind, if you could sum up Prince Harry in a single word, what would it be?
Dishonest.
Because dishonesty is only half the story. The other half, arrogance, delusion, a victim complex so big it needs its own zip code. But that wasn't the whole story. Remember this? Harry spent years telling the world Britain was a racist country, that his own family was racist, that he escaped a prison of cruelty. He cried to Oprah, moaned to Netflix, whined to Apple TV. Every media outlet was his confessional booth. And then suddenly, Harry is back in Britain on a structured, well-organized tour. And what does he do? Hands out £1.5 million to charity. Money he doesn't even have.
And all over the world he's gone round saying Britain's a racist country and his country is, his family is racist and all the rest. So the fact that he actually comes to Britain on a very, very structured, well-organised tour, gives away £1.5 million to charities, money he hasn't really got, but he'll do anything to ingratiate himself, convinces the royal core of reporters that it's all reconciliation.
PR analysts whisper it's cash he fronted for headlines, not money he earned. The royal press called it heartwarming, a reconciliation tour, smiles, hugs, and headlines about the old Harry making a comeback. But Tom Bower wasn't fooled. This wasn't reconciliation, this was theater. Harry wasn't healing anything. He was staging a photo op, trying to buy forgiveness with borrowed money, while the cameras clicked. And here's the kicker. He promised King Charles he'd be silent after their meeting. Silent, respectful. 3 days later, he's in Ukraine, ranting about his clear conscience, and bragging that he has no regrets.
As that clip came out, how can Prince Harry have no regrets?
Well, not only about that, but a lot more. I mean, he said the most dreadful things in his book about Prince William, about Kate, about his father, and about Camilla, and about Britain too.
A man who sells out his family for book sales then dares to act like a saint? This isn't just hypocrisy, it's performance art. But what came next made it even uglier. 6 months ago, Harry's African charity Centibale imploded in scandal. The chairman accused him of bullying, misogyny, and dishonesty.
You've got to remember, just 6 months ago, when the whole Centibale crisis happened, this is his charity in Lesotho and Botswana, he was accused by the chairman of being a bully, a misogynist, of being dishonest and all the rest of it.
Yes, bullying. The same man who lectures the world about kindness and compassion was called out for treating his own charity staff like dirt. His reputation? In the gutter. He was radioactive, and yet here he is, repackaging himself as Prince Kindness, with photo ops and forced smiles. Tom Bower nailed it. This isn't the old Harry back. It's a new Harry, one who wants his cake and eats it too.
And it did seem as if Harry's reputation had hit the dust. But he very cleverly has put all that behind him and suddenly appears, and because he hands out baubles to children and smiles and all the rest of it, everyone says, oh, it's the old Harry back. Well, it's not the old Harry back. It's a new Harry. It's the Harry that wants to have his cake and eat it.
California mansion, Spotify podcast checks, Montecito polo matches, and then a quick hop across the Atlantic to pretend he's still royal. Except he's not royal anymore. He's a celebrity mascot in Meghan's endless PR campaign. A man who turned his grandmother's funeral into a Netflix storyline. A man who thinks handing out cash erases betrayal. And here's the thing. Meghan and Harry together have done more damage to the monarchy in 4 years than anyone has in a century.
He wants to live in California and pop over here just to remind people how important he is, and at the same time, of course, undermine the royal family. And that really is. He and Meghan together have done more in the last 4 or 5 years to destroy the royal family than anyone over the past hundreds of years.
But that wasn't the end of the story. Make no mistake, Harry isn't coming back to Britain out of love. He's coming back for vengeance. This tour wasn't reconciliation. It was revenge disguised as charity. Harry knows the monarchy is weak right now. Kate is unwell. The king is battling health issues. William is struggling to hold it together. And into this fragile moment struts Harry, waving checks and cameras, positioning himself as the caring son.
And I fear that this trip has done huge damage to the royal family, because in the end he'll get his vengeance, and it's very, very bad. This is the point. It's very, very bad for Prince William and Kate. You know, they are struggling to assert themselves. She's not well, the king's not well, the monarchy is not in its best shape ever, and here comes Harry just spewing out his bonhomie and his money, thinking he can buy himself a license to carry on as before. And I think he should have been told you can't do it.
It's not kindness, it's strategy. Harry wants to remind the world how important he is, while subtly undermining his brother's credibility. And Meghan, she's right there with him. Except her Hollywood career is tanking. Netflix shows canceled, Spotify deals gone, brand Meghan in freefall. She needs Harry more than ever, and Harry, in his twisted way, needs her. Two narcissists locked in a codependent PR war. Together they are chaos. And Bower's warning is clear. Harry will get his vengeance, and the monarchy will pay the price. But the humiliation wasn't over yet. Harry's a spare part. Those words stung more than any palace snub.
Is Harry Meghan's spare, or is now Meghan Harry's spare? Who is the spare to the royal family? But that is the fact, that they're both of them looking for a purpose, and all they can do is damage the royal family by their activities.
Once a soldier, once a golden prince, Harry is now reduced to spare parts in his own life, a spare part in the monarchy, a spare part in Meghan's collapsing brand, a spare part in Hollywood. Even Meghan sees it. Her career is unraveling, her projects failing. She tried to brand herself as a lifestyle mogul, a Netflix queen, a humanitarian icon. It flopped every single time. So Harry rebrands himself, again, as the independent prince, distancing himself from Meghan in public, while Meghan clings harder behind closed doors.
Harry's become a spare part at a wedding, a spare part at a state visit, a spare part at everything. Has he painted himself into irrelevance?
Well, he hasn't, because when he comes here, he becomes a focus of attention. But of course, he is spare to Meghan, or was, in her attempt to become sort of the great television housekeeper and homekeeper. But her series, her career is crashing. So very cleverly, Harry has separated himself from Meghan as she did from him.
Montecito becomes Montepiti, two lost souls frantically searching for relevance, desperate for validation, a prince without a crown and a duchess without an audience. But if you think that was bad, wait until you see the global fallout. Never forget the Oprah interview. Meghan claimed racism inside the palace. Harry sat there nodding. The world listened. Headlines screamed. And the British monarchy was forever stained. 17 false or misleading claims in that interview, according to fact checkers. 17.
And it was unforgivable, all the dreadful things they said. I mean, Meghan alone, in her interview with Oprah Winfrey, made 17 what one might call inaccurate statements. It was shocking what they did.
But by then, the damage was permanent. Around the globe, millions believe the royal family is racist because Meghan and Harry said so. They didn't just accuse, they branded, they marketed, they monetized. Spare, Netflix, Apple. Every sob story, every half-truth, every exaggerated slight became a paycheck. And Tom Bower put it plainly. They did it for money, not justice, not truth. Money. They sold out the crown for self-promotion, and the royal family will never fully recover.
He said the most dreadful things in his book. And of course, it wasn't only in his book. He did it on the Netflix series and the Apple series. And all over the world, he's gone round saying Britain's a racist country and his family is racist and all the rest.
But Harry's latest stunt proves he's not done, and what he really wants is even more shocking. Here's the dirty secret behind Harry's Ukraine trip. It wasn't just compassion, it wasn't just Invictus, it was business. Harry needs the British government's support for the 2027 Invictus Games in Birmingham. He needs funding, he needs his father's backing, he needs the very establishment he's spent years trashing to prop up his legacy. Without Invictus, Harry has nothing.
And they did it for money. They did it for themselves, self-promotion. And that is what I find so awful. And I'm telling you, the trip to Ukraine, it may seem to you to be all about the poor soldiers who are injured, but it really is all about Harry. Harry is desperately looking for a purpose. He is looking for a role. He gave up on this charity in Southern Africa, Centre Bailey, because it was his money going into it. There wasn't enough money for him. Invictus is funded by governments. And what has been really important for him on this trip here, which no one has picked up yet, is that he needs the support of the British government for the Invictus Games in 27 in Birmingham.
No career, no identity, no purpose. He gave up on Centerville because it wasn't profitable enough. Invictus is government funded. That's why Harry is suddenly Mr. Compassionate again, because he's desperate for support. Tom Bower nailed it. Harry is a man without purpose, clinging to a cause he abandoned once before, now resurrected because he has nothing else left. But the final blow was the harshest truth of all. Prince Harry can puff his chest all he wants, but here's the brutal truth. He's not a soldier anymore. He's not a working royal, and he's certainly not the golden child the press once adored. He's a has-been with a Netflix password, clinging to headlines like a drowning man clutching driftwood. Tom Bower cut right through the PR fog when he said Harry's word of the day is dishonest.
If you could sum up Prince Harry in a single word, what would it be?
Dishonest.
And honestly, that was charity, because dishonesty is only part of it. The other half is how pitifully predictable Harry has become. Every time his reputation sinks, he pulls the same stunt, a charity gesture, a heartfelt speech, or some desperate interview where he pretends to be both victim and hero. It's the same broken record, except now, nobody's dancing. And the no regrets line. That was the final nail in his credibility's coffin. Think about it. When most people look back at their mistakes, they admit some regret. They show humility. But Harry, he doubles down. He smirks. He digs in like a toddler caught with cookie crumbs on his face, insisting he didn't do it. That's not courage. That's narcissism wrapped in delusion. And here's the kicker. The more he insists he has no regrets, the smaller he looks. Instead of coming across as brave, he looks petty. Instead of sounding principled, he sounds petulant. And instead of standing tall as a man with conviction, he shrinks into the role of Meghan's sidekick, forever trapped in a soap opera no one asked to watch. Meanwhile, the monarchy he despises keeps rolling on without him. William is stepping into leadership. Kate, even while battling health struggles, is admired more than ever. Charles is still the king, still respected. And Harry, he's the ghost at the feast, not important enough to be included, not dignified enough to be admired, but just noisy enough to be mocked. The irony? Harry wanted freedom. He wanted to escape the spare label. But by writing spare, by clinging to that identity like a crown of thorns, he ensured that history will remember him as exactly that, the eternal spare. Not the brave soldier, not the prince who changed the monarchy, just the man who couldn't get over playing second fiddle. So he smashed the orchestra instead. Tom Bower's verdict wasn't just about Harry's dishonesty. It was about the emptiness of this entire Montecito fairy tale. Two people who had everything, titles, wealth, global admiration, and traded it all for victimhood, lawsuits, and a Netflix docuseries nobody finished watching. That's not progress. That's self-destruction. So let's leave it here. Harry may say he has no regrets, but the world does. Britain regrets ever indulging his pity party. The royals regret trusting him. Fans regret believing him. And one day, when the lights are off, when Meghan has moved on to her next reinvention, and when Invictus is no longer his golden ticket, even Harry will regret it, though he'll never admit it. Because the story of Prince Harry isn't about bravery, honesty, or redemption. It's about a man who confused rebellion with relevance. And in the end, history won't remember him as a trailblazer. It'll remember him as exactly what Tom Bauer said: dishonest, a prince without a throne, a man without a purpose, a spare part that nobody knows what to do with. But here's what I want to know from you. Do you think Harry really has no regrets? Or is that just the smug excuse of a man who torched his own family for cash? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, because this story is far from over. And if you don't want to miss the next royal meltdown, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell, because the next chapter in this saga is going to be even messier, and you're not going to want to miss it. And if you want to see Victoria Beckham destroy Meghan Markle with her new Netflix takeover, check out my previous video on the top of the screen. Until next time, stay tuned, stay safe, and stay informed. Only on Tea Time with Tina.